Okay, we're back out here in the soybean fields. The last time we were out here, the soybean plants were just now starting to get into reproductive growth. Now these plants are fully in reproductive growth. So we are actively growing those pods in the field, and that's kind of the main focus of these plants now at this point in time. Where previously we were working and we were managing inputs, this could have been fertility inputs, this could have been weed management inputs, we are now in crop protection mode. These soybean plants are at about R3 or R4, which means that the pods are actively out there. A bulk majority of this plant has successfully pollinated, and we actively have pods growing. Now, how you distinguish R3 and R4 is you look at 4 nodes down from the top node, and you look at what stage a majority of those pods in that pod cluster are at. When we're at R3, this is going to be a 3/16 inch pod in that 4th node or above. Whenever you go up to R4, that pod grows just a little bit. It's very hard to kind of distinguish those stages sometimes in the field because of how things look and how things grow. But if we have smaller pods that are growing at the base of that flower, we are at that R3, R4. The next stage we're going to get at is that pod to be fully extended, not only both from a length standpoint, but a width standpoint. And then the next stage, we're going to start growing the soybeans. So those pods are actively growing in the fields. And the key and the critical thing right now is to protect those pods. And so we're talking a lot from in insect management. We were just out here earlier today looking for things like stink bugs, looking for things like pod worms that are going to be actively feeding on those plants. You want to make sure that you protect those pods against those, and you also need to be looking for diseases. That's at this stage is where we potentially are starting to ramp up the disease pressure, especially as we move from July into August and even into September. As that humidity spikes up a little bit, that means that the sub canopy or the underneath the canopy humidity is often much higher than what it is above the canopy, and that humidity is high and the temperatures are still high. If we get these rain shower events, we got spores present, we can start to see really disease build up. In the state of Oklahoma, what we're really looking for potentially is some of our leaf spots. So this can be things like Cercospora, Alternaria. We're looking at root rots and pod rots, and we're still looking at some stem rots. So that's really what we're focused on, is pod feeding insects and diseases at this stage in the game.